Taarifa yetu kuu ni kuhusiana na kikao cha pamoja cha bunge kuhusiana na sheria za uchaguzi hapa nchini, sheria ambazo zilipendekezwa na bunge la kitaifa kwamba waweze kugeuza sheria za uchaguzi hapa nchini. Lakini kwa sasa kikao hiki cha pamoja kinaendelea katika county hall pale makao makuu ya seneti. Hebu tusikie ni yepi ambayo yanajiri kufikia sasa.
Thank you, Mr. Nzioka. Thank you very much. You've represented UKAI very well. UKAI stands for Ukamba Agricultural Institute. Yeah, good. And it's now a university. Very good, very good. Thank you very much. The proposed amendments are trying to cure a problem that exists. And simply stated, it is where there is a difference between what is electronically transmitted, what is manually written will prevail. Because there is always a problem when you are using two systems. And as you say, there are some people who are also mischievous. There could be collusion, there could be anything, criminal elements. What is your take? Because this is bound to happen even where we have the best of technology. A conflict arises, and we have to look at one final document, bearing in mind that you as a returning officer, you cannot make any alterations on the manual results. Because if you do so, you got 5 years in jail staring at you. What is your view regarding this? Do you think it is really out of line, or we are trying to cure a problem that exists?
Okay, I think you can deal with those two. Very briefly, very briefly.
Thank you. From Madam, I do want to say exactly what you have said, that it is true that you need to look into the conspiracy behind that clerk officer. On the other hand, as on your part, we are talking of manual transmission overriding electronic transmission. We've been there. I do want to believe the reason why we came up with this technology is because of manual interference. When you talk of fingers, you talk of serious transmission of fingers. Fingers which are carried manually are very likely to be interfered with. And therefore, I do emphasize that much as we would like to continue with the manual, remember we were there. And the only way we can cure that is by electronic transmission, not overriding. Manual not overriding electronic transmission.
Thank you. I think yeah. So we appreciate. Yes?
I could just make a comment.
Okay, Matangi has a comment to make.
Chair, probably just to make a comment to Bona Engineer. Yes, and first to thank you. You've brought in good thoughts, and especially on that, on the proposed, or the thought on the bill. And that would be a good idea. And just to acknowledge and to say, I think, looking into the future, that your thoughts would be good. Actually, we should look at a situation in the years to come where you'd even have Kenyans voting from their phone, the way you send your M-Pesa. I mean, that should be doable. So I believe that would be a way to go. However, currently, where we are is that we have elections to conduct. We have still not grown to that extent, although I acknowledge that your ideas are good. And so the way to go right now, and of course you have your view, is would have to look at the best way or the best scenario, how to manage what we have. And that's why probably the law proposes that without discarding the electronic system that we have proposed, that we also elevate the manual system such that, because we have a scenario that we have already gone through in the last general election, that we mitigate that scenario as a way of moving forward. But eventually, we should, as a country, be able to arrive at that position. So I think it's a question of navigating from where we are to where we want to go.
Yes.
May I give a comment on that?
Briefly.
Well, the situation that we are going through is short term. And I feel whatever we intend to do now is subject for review, because we are trying to clear a problem by reversing ourselves. And you never know whether the same cartel will repeat what they did last time. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Njoka, and we appreciate your contributions and also responding to what members have raised. And we will take into account your comments. Thank you very much. I now invite Honorable Njoroge from County Assembly of Nakuru.
Point of order, Chair. Chair, just a brief point of order. Small matter of order. In the absence of either co-chair, this being a joint sitting, let's kindly have the respective vice chair from the respective house at the table.
Okay. So we in that case then, who is the vice chair from? Honorable member from Nakuru County Assembly.
The chairperson, members of Election Laws Committee, the public, and the Kenyan people, good afternoon. My name is Njoroge PM. I am here to represent the people of Morindat. And I would like to share my views, opinion, and thoughts by first of all sharing my story, which I believe is part of the story of democracy of Kenya, as a case study in support of the amendments of the election laws. I campaigned for 1 year on a blue bicycle, and I reached all the electorate of Morindat through to door-to-door campaign, and I was able to sell my manifesto to those people. And when the elections came, I want to strongly believe that the process was so transparent, free and fair, such that I had a chance to win the elections. And I also had a chance to beat so many people who had resources and money, who were in a good position to influence the process. And that communicates something, that tells you something, that the democracy of Kenya has matured. And therefore, I would like to say without fear or favor that I was baffled by the judgment that was made to overturn the victory of the President Uhuru Kenyatta. That means if the election was so fair and transparent at the grassroots, it also ought to have been very fair in those other levels, constituency and the National Tallying Center. So that means that we have some loopholes in the Constitution. We have some ambiguities in the Constitution that ought to be addressed through these amendments. And I'm therefore in full support of the amendments. The other thing I would like to indicate on behalf of the people of Morindat is that legislature is an independent arm of the government, and therefore they should not take instructions or directions from anybody, not parties, not individuals, not international bodies or actors. And one of their major functions is to amend the Constitution. Therefore, this amendment that is being done is in line with their constitutional mandate. The other point that I would like to raise regards the international actors. I think they should know that their job is to make observation, and therefore this observation should not come in form of directions or instructions. Their job is strictly to make observation. And in any case, if anybody is interested in doing the job of the legislature, then they are free to run for offices and do that job. Finally, I would like to really support these amendments. I think these amendments have good intentions, and those intentions is to address the loopholes that exist currently. That intention is to address the ambiguities, and the intention of these amendments is to make sure that the election is free, fair, credible, and verifiable. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Njoroge, for your comments. You have a written memoranda. If you have, let us have a copy duly signed by yourself.